Hello? Is anybody home? It's a beautiful morning. Yeah, yeah. I think I'll go outside for a while. We have to have music. I'm sorry, I know the singing is bad. It's all I have. I've been censored. But anyway, welcome to Hey Hey, it's Q&A Saturday. And y'all are awesome with all of your questions. One thing I want to point out is I will be reading through these questions, and if I don't address your question, it is because it's coming up. Like, for example, okay, what about dehydrated foods? See, that's a whole like morning talk. I'm going to be talking about dehydrated foods tomorrow. Yes, I am, on Sunday. So we'll be talking about that tomorrow, and like how to bulk up your recipes at night with that, because what's happening is here you've been on your raw train for about a week, and your body's starting to crave some of these older foods. I mean, maybe you've not been but maybe you have just been hitting like a 70-80% mark on your plan, which is awesome. But the thing is, when you can start to realize, I'm either going to do this thing or I'm going to make an excuse. I'm either going to get past these cravings and these old things that I want, or I'm not. Like, it's on you. You know what I'm saying? So like, a lot of times people there's stages, you know what I mean? So don't beat yourself up if you've not been right on top of your game. Do that journal. I want you all to do that journal, and come week 4, I want to see that thing. And there could be a prize if you filled out that journal every day. There really could. I'll even let you start today. I really will. I'll even give you the first week is just getting your mind wrapped around it, okay? So get your honey over to TJ Maxx or Marshalls or Ross and get you a journal of fabulousness and start doing it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so let's get right to the Q&As, and let me stop hee-hawing around, shall we? I did not drop the videos for the snacks in yesterday, because I gave y'all a lot of ideas in that, and my internet's been down. But it looks like, you know what, I think I've managed to fix it, but I can't get it up on my phone because I don't know the password, okay? And what is annoying is that it always comes up and it's like, what's the password for Wi-Fi Big Fish, which is what my ex-husband used to call himself, the Big Fish. And it is still on there. And when Christopher Scott gets home tonight, he needs to change that, because I'm tired of looking and thinking about the Big Fish. Okay, that's out. Anyway, and I need the code, and I need to write it down somewhere. So anyway, see, I have a whole chart situation going on, you know. So let's get right to some of these. And again, if I don't call your name with the question too, there was just a lot of things to write down and see. I was going to pull this up. Like I needed all the screens, and I didn't have that available. So anyway, if I can today, I will drop in some snack idea videos over under the pin post for yesterday. And we'll see how long this goes, because I might need to do 2 parts, and if so, then it will be right down in the feed. This one will be the pin post, and I'll be saying, hey, look below, because sometimes if these are too long, they don't want to load up, and I don't want to lose my feed. I really don't. So anyway, Yasina was saying homemade nut milks instead of water in green smoothies. Well, I wanted to show you something. I meant to pull this up. Hold on. Hang on just a sec. Now, what's tricky about you asking me about nut milks and all is, see, the calories are depending on how many nuts and how much water you blended and all that, or is it straight nut milk? And let's remember that that's got fat and calories in it. So when you're switching water up for that, I wouldn't do that. I would not do that. You can do it, and I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying a lot of times it causes a tricky digestion. Then you've got nut milk in there with fat, and you've probably got chia seeds on your plan, depending on who you are. And see, it depends. Okay, here we've got a calorie count, and of course this isn't made at home. Of 1 cup of unsweetened hemp milk is about 70 calories, 5 grams of fat. But the point is, you've just upped it. See, 70 calories doesn't sound like a lot, but when you've just thrown that in there, and it changes the fat. If I was going to do that, I certainly wouldn't do much, and I probably just wouldn't do it. I would use, if I was going to do nut milk or something, I would save it, and I would use that in like a little bit in a warm tea, maybe after dinner, when a lot of people are having these cravings and stuff, which we're going to get to in a minute. Or I would have it as part of like adding it in as my fat to like my corn chowder or something to give a creamy existence. But I just don't feel like you need it in the smoothies. But that's my take on that. Okay, so Bree was asking me, salads are not satisfying at night. Okay, so we talked about a lot of the soups. We talked about zoodles. I talked about you know, she's trying to keep it all raw, I'm assuming. I talked about walking up and flipping the al dente veggies, but she's trying not to do that clearly. So she's talking about, can she do a wrap, like onion wraps and stuff like that. We are going to talk about that tomorrow in the dehydrated food, so just hold your little horses on that, Bree. We will talk about that tomorrow, because you absolutely can. And you talk about a real filling experience, but I really want you to understand how to calculate the fat and what kind of wraps you're doing. So we'll talk about that tomorrow, okay? All right, I need to look this up too. See, my internet was out yesterday. Hang on just a second. Camelina. Hold on, this is something I did not know about. Cheryl is asking me about, why didn't that go? About camelina seeds, and I've never heard of those. And she's asking me about subbing those for chia. See, my computer has totally stopped working. Oh, here it goes. I'm seeing camellia seed oil. Okay, I'm not seeing it right off. Let me do a little research on that, and I'll come back with a post about that, and I will at you, Cheryl, okay? But the thing about the chia seeds is they have all the amino acids for your little body to build protein. They also are a warrior food. If you have not watched my video called The Benefits of Chia Seeds and Chia Seed Powerhouse, watch that. I personally wouldn't sub out chia seeds for anything in those smoothies, but I will do some research on this for you. Okay, Roxanne was asking me, greens in green smoothie most of the time are frozen. Is that okay? You know, a lot of times we feel like the nutritional profile of frozen greens is less, but you know, I heard of several studies before, but Dr. Greger was speaking on this not long ago about how actually a lot of times greens that are organic and frozen with nothing else in there, you know, they're flash froze right when they're picked. So actually the nutrients are higher right then, and then when you freeze them they go down a little bit, but you're still on the upswing scale. You see what I mean? Where a lot of these other ones, they've traveled and all this, or we had to opt for conventional instead of organic just to afford them, or that kind of thing. So I feel like it's absolutely fine, and I feel like it's a great way to make sure you have greens on hand. Now, I personally prefer to buy my greens in bulk, and then if I can't use them all, I blend them with a little bit of water and freeze them, and I have that over on my Instagram, where you basically pack in the greens and you put in just enough water to get them to blend, and you pour them into ice cube trays. Let me link that picture below. But get some BPA free silicone like trays, which is great, and then you freeze it, crack them, and throw them in a baggie, and then they're in there. But clearly you can use frozen greens. So that was for you, Roxanne. Somebody else was asking me about goji berries, what I think, where to eat them for a snack, etc. Okay, well, I'll tell you this, you can sub out you can have them in with your snack, but you know, most of the time we're talking about dried goji berries, and so therefore you've just lessened the bulk. You have replaced, and if you have full raw fruit with dried goji berries, that is a bombo combo right there. You could cause yourself to some digestive stress. The reason I map out that snack the way I do is so you can get volume and bulk, hydration. I mean, that's what really keeps us singing along. The less dried fruit you can eat, the better. Now, goji berries have a high antioxidant profile, but let me point this out. Do you know how much a half of a cup is? It's like, depending on how big your hands are, you know, measure something out with that and look at it. A half of a cup. Okay, a half of a cup of goji berries is about 180 calories. Well, you could have a tiny little palm full of goji berries, or you could have about 2 giant Macintosh apples, for example, or Honeycrisp. Do you see the difference in the volume? Now, you can do that, but if I was going to do that, I would have a big old large amount of celery with that and some greens. So I had the volume in there, and you could do that. I would also probably have a little water, so I made sure not to dip into a dehydrated situation, because dried fruit will do that. You have to be careful because it pulls moisture from the body to rehydrate itself, you know, to digest. Okay, page 1. Okay, Renee was saying, how long does celery last when I buy it? What I do is I store my produce in Debbie Meyer green boxes. Therefore, the off gases of fruits and veggies and greens go out of the box, but no external air comes in. Therefore, it preserves them longer. The key is not to wash them ahead and store them in there very dry. Okay, that's the key. When you bring these things home from the store and they're in their travel bag or travel container, get them out of that thing because they're suffocating. Get them out, blot them off, put them in your boxes, close them up, drop them in the fridge, okay? So I absolutely could shop once a week if I wanted to. I buy my things in bulk. I have enough Debbie Meyer green boxes to last me, and I love the Debbie Meyer green boxes off HSN. They are harder green boxes. I don't know if I showed y'all this before or not. I'm always taking people in the kitchen, but let me show you. You know, there's some you can get at Bed and Bath, and they're really not. Half my lights in this kitchen don't work, but this one does. So the Bed and Bath boxes are kind of like this. They're smaller, but do you see how that's got like some flex to it? Okay. The ones off HSN that you can get, I don't know where else you can get that. You see there, do you see like that? Okay, this is a different scene. Okay, I love these. This is a bread box size, perfect for celery. It comes in a set of 3, and or maybe 4. I like this one too, great for greens. And you can come across green boxes that are not Debbie Meyer that look like this. You see these? It's got a green top. These are not as good at all. See, these are perfect. That's Swiss chard right there. It's been in there a week and it's perfect. I need to go to the grocery. Don't look at my sink, it's messy. So the Debbie Meyer green boxes is how I do that, Renee. And you're going to become more strategic about your shopping. You're going to understand what you need, and it will become easier. But for right now, you know what? You're putting yourself on the list to take time to shop for yourself. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, somebody else asked me, did I like the Debbie Meyer green boxes or bags better? I like the boxes because the bags I do like, but you know, after you've got produce in there, you really have to rinse the bags out. You can use them over and over. You have to rinse the bags out though, and then you've got to prop those things like teepeed somewhere to dry, or they're moist inside. And see, I find that to be a hassle, so I quit using those years ago, but that's just my personal preference. Somebody can't find organic celery and they need to use conventional. Is that okay? That is something that bothers me. I would seek high and low for that organic celery, but if I had to use the other, I would give it a bath in vinegar and aluminum-free baking soda, and I would let it soak in there for about 30 minutes. Rinse it good, rinse it again, and rinse it again, and then I would dry it and store it. That's how I would do. And it doesn't bother everybody, but it's just something that flares up an autoimmune reaction in me. Okay, Renee must ask this. Celery the other day with super beets, heart racing, then I wouldn't do it. I've never had that. I know what super beet is, but I've never had that, and I just wouldn't do it. And celery, really, the best benefits for celery juice is on its own. It really is. So I would just split those two up, Renee. I wouldn't risk it. If something causes me to have a reaction like that, I do. I'm intuitive to my body now. your 12-year-old child has GI problems just like you've had, and digestive distress and all since you were 5, and the lifestyle is helping her feel better, and she's a big fan of celery and spinach. Is that what you said? That's so, I love it when I hear like people's families like really not having to go down the same track of things that bothered you. Like